Okay, here's the market watch for the end of March and the start of April 2022. Let's go. So are we headed for a crash? And I'm hearing that an awful lot, which is typical. When the market's going great, the media at some point talks about a crash. When the market's down in the doldrums, the media at some point starts talking it up. So it's not unusual, but let's put emotion aside and let's look at the facts of the market right now to try and determine where it's going. And this all came about because I watch other agents' market reports. Seems everyone's doing the same thing these days. And I swear, some of these agents are not in the same marketplace as I am. Some of them are doing fear selling, which is, oh my God, the market's going to crash. You'd better sell now. Others are saying the market was fantastic, it is fantastic, and it's going to stay fantastic, time to sell. So I want to take that typical real estate sales talk out of it and just give you the facts. If the market's going to slide, I'm going to tell you that. If it's going to stay good, I'm going to tell you that. If it's going to do something in between, I'm going to tell you that. So right now on Darryl's scale of 1 to 10 on real estate markets, this market that we've had has been a 10. It has now dropped to about an 8. So a little bit off the boil, but certainly not a bad market. A bad market would be a 0, 1 or 2. A normal market is in the middle, about a 5, where the number of listings pretty much matches the number of buyers. Another indication that we have a slight pause or even a slowdown in the market, and I'm going to explain that a little bit later, is that auction campaigns had shortened to 2 weeks. They've now pushed back out to 4 weeks. So that's another little indicator that market has slowed just a tad. I mean, the truth is, it doesn't matter if you're buying or selling, you only know what the market is today. That old saying, the best time to buy was yesterday, the next best time is today. And for sellers, the best time to sell may have been tomorrow if you can game the market. In other words, if you think the market's going to keep going up, the best time to sell is tomorrow. But at some point you get caught out with that and you go, oh, I wish I'd sold yesterday. So again, best time to sell is now, best time to buy is now. Obviously that depends on your personal circumstances and why you're buying and obviously why you're selling. And the thing is, buyers are very much in tune with the market. In fact, I'd say buyers are more in tune with the market than sellers are, because buyers are looking every single day at what's coming on the market, whereas sellers kind of look, then they put their house on the market, then they sit back. Buyers every single day, and what buyers are now seeing is, yesterday there were 1 or 2 houses on the market, now there's 3 or 4. Last week there were 3 or 4, now there's 5, 6 or 7. So buyers are starting to see an increase in inventory, and what that does for the buyer, it takes the urgency out of having to find a house. And when the urgency comes out of having to find a house, the prices suffer, because what's been happening, and I blame real estate agents for this, here's where the market evidence is. The agent goes, we can list at this above the evidence price and get it, and the seller goes, okay. Now the seller's going, well, if that's where we can push to, why don't we push to here? The problem with that is buyers are now seeing this, seeing the high inventory and going, So the sellers that are with smart agents, the agent will come to them, the agent will educate them as to this, and they'll go, you know what, we were getting a bit optimistic up here. Let's get back to that great price rather than that unrealistic price, and let's get it sold before we actually see a decline in the actual market. So what that means is, hopefully, if you are listening, you're with an experienced agent that has been in one of these real estate markets before, where the prices are going up, then all of a sudden they slow down, then do they pause, or do they go down, or do they crash? Your agent should be able to have their finger on the pulse for that one. I mean, I've even seen some agents, and this is in the last month and a half, do the old William Wallace hold, 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 hold. And the problem with hold, at some point you go, oh, I should have sold yesterday. So be very careful about holding out for your price, especially if this is where you were 2 years ago and now we've added 45% to the value. That's still good in anyone's language. So on the rental side, also a little bit of a slowdown. About a month ago, we had maybe 0 or 1 properties for rent. Now we have 4 or 5 for rent. I asked the girls in the office what's their impression of the rental market, and they said without hesitating, the quality of the applications has dropped. Not the volume, but just the quality has dropped. So the girls have to be more, what's what I'm looking for, more strict on the type of tenant that we choose to put into a property, and we're having a slightly less choice than what we would have had 1, 2 or 3 or 4 months ago. So that's something to keep an eye on also, because that will indirectly affect rental values. And my voice is breaking, and that's it for this week. So if you're thinking about selling, give me a call. We'll talk about our 11-phase pre-marketing system. Doesn't cost you a penny, but it does find buyers before you actually go on the market, and it alerts you as to what value you probably should go on at. If you're a buyer, give me a call. Still love to help you out. And if you're a landlord, give us a call and we'll talk about our 2 rental guarantees that we have in place for all landlords. That's it. See you all next week.